Hi, this is Burcu, and I'll be reading my creative nonfiction piece. It's on page 16. It's called TV. I remember going to your basement apartment, picking up your books and clothes and bringing them to my apartment. And yes, your TV, the larger than life kind. We decided to live together. It must have been easy to fall in and out of love, invite someone in or out of my life at that time. That's not true. It's never been easy for me to do any of the above. I've never liked sharing food, clothes, sleep, or bed, or waking up in a house where there are other people. I'm my mother's girl who thinks, and I'm quoting my mother here, word for word, flesh is heavy, especially others, but sometimes even your own flesh. So then, how did you end up in my apartment? What made you special? I don't remember. I usually remember people for the worst things that they have done to me, the things that I've allowed them to do. I don't remember you. I don't even remember how you dressed up or talk. I don't remember your smile. I vaguely remember your hair. If I'm correct, you had thick black and wavy hair that was just above your shoulder. Still, I remember the TV in further detail than I'll ever remember you. It was big and black with a spot at the right-hand corner. The spot became obvious when it was turned off. It needed to cool down when it worked hard. It had a grit system in the back to release the extra heat. You dusted that grit scrupulously. At one point, you allowed the cleaning lady to dust it. That was your way of showing trust. The lady liked you. She didn't like me. With her eyes, she disapproved of everything I did. She must have thought that I was the exact opposite of who a young woman should be. One day, something happened to that TV. It had grains, and you accused her behind her back of cleaning your TV incorrectly. I wanted to let her know that you accused her and ask whether she still liked you more than she disliked me. I worked, you stayed home, you were getting ready for something, an exam of some sorts. I don't remember what exactly, but you had a close friend who was also getting ready for something, maybe the same thing. So you hung out often in the apartment watching your TV. We didn't go out much. When we did, it was to your friend's house. He had a girlfriend as well who worked for a recording studio. I think she was a video editor. She worked at night. I worked during the day. We crossed paths briefly. She seemed content. So appeared I. One time when we as couples were in your friend's house, I remember being overwhelmed with something. Was it us? Was it your friends? It can't be work because I never shared work with you. I must have drunk a little too much because the extra that I had was running down my eyes. Another time when we met as couples was when you and I were intermediaries. He'd upset her. I don't remember how, but I dimly remember his hand squeezing her wrist. She denied that it happened. That made me disturbed. So disturbed that you all had to appease me. That night, you held me responsible for continuing a disagreement that had already been resolved. The three of you commenced watching TV. Before we all went to bed, I felt like an extra in your sitcom. We broke up semi-peacefully, at least what we were making when we were making the decision. You packed easily, and we quickly realized that we had never really mingled. Our clothes, books, DVDs, records, or cups were together but separate. You left on a cleaning day. The lady helped you. She looked very sad. When I came back, it was late. She had put a sticker on the fridge. It said you were going to come back for your TV and had placed your set of keys on the dresser. I felt a sudden rush of some unknown feeling. It made me strong and big. I stood in front of the TV and lifted it up. I carried it to the door and put it outside. I texted you and told where your TV was. Some hours later, two men came. They had entered the building somehow. They were ringing my doorbell when I peeked through the hole. I did not answer. They started knocking on the door. You texted, the TV isn't there. I texted back, it was there. Someone must have taken it. Send these people away. I don't remember how long your man stayed there. For me, it was almost long enough to start calling my first neighbor on speed dial. For you, it might have taken a little shorter to think that my relationship with your TV had been weaker than my relationship with you. You would have assumed wrong. I felt just as lost. Years later, I'm sitting at an international conference dinner table at a college in Oxford. After a presentation about the colonizer and colonized dichotomy in the theater of 19th century Turkey. The table I'm sitting at runs almost the entire length of the room. At one moment, I catch a glimpse of someone slightly resembling you in the distance. That someone is chatting animatedly with a presenter whom I enjoyed listening to. That someone and I exchange glances incognito. That someone may not be you, but again, I can't be sure. Yet I start to imagine that someone and the person that he's talking to as two strangers, starring in a movie that you and I might have enjoyed watching on our TV, cuddled up on the sofa in our apartment. Thank you.